Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at one of 2025's most anticipated movies. So sit back and enjoy as we dive into everything we know about the upcoming zombie sequel, 28 Days Later. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
Execute Code Red.
The franchise. For those of you who do not know, 28 Years Later is the third installment of a series of post-apocalyptic horror films. The films before these, titled 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, both follow the events that transpire after a disease known as the Rage virus is released onto the world. First film sets the stage. A group of animal rights activists happen to infiltrate a lab where scientists have been experimenting on animals, trying to study a highly contagious disease that was originally intended for chemical warfare. Despite the warnings from scientists, these activists set the animals free, resulting in an outbreak all over Britain. The virus basically turns all those affected into zombie-like people who are ravenous and capable of moving very fast. 28 days after the initial outbreak, we're introduced to Jim, played by Cillian Murphy, who wakes up from a coma to find himself in a deserted hospital. He navigates the city trying to find answers, and along the way he encounters people who have been infected and are now consumed by rage. The story follows Jim and other survivors as they try to escape the situation without getting infected. The second film follows the same theme. About 6 months have passed since the initial outbreak, and those infected have starved to death by then. A safe zone has been established for survivors, where Don, one of the survivors, welcomes his children Tammy and Andy. However, the virus breaks out again, and the survivors are once again forced to fight for their lives. Both movies essentially follow survivors battling to escape contaminated areas and make it into a safe zone. Release date. Just like the first film, 28 Years Later is set to be directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland. Fans are thrilled that the OG duo has returned after nearly 2 decades to revive the franchise. The shooting for this film began back in May around northeast England. What is interesting about this sequel is that it's not just one movie we're getting, but a trilogy of sequels. 28 Weeks Later did not do as well as the first movie. That is probably why fans have had to wait so long for another installment to the franchise. Along with the fact that Garland was not the one who wrote it and was not happy with how the story turned out, well, the wait is finally over. Sony Pictures has announced that the much-awaited third installment of this franchise will be released in theaters on June 20th, 2025. Plot details. What we know so far. At the end of 28 Weeks Later, the Rage virus has spread beyond Britain and is now ravaging Europe. The sequel still takes place in Britain. The film is set 28 years into the plague, with Britain populated by violent, rabid people. A few unaffected communities remain. The story is about a young boy traveling through this world, hoping to find a doctor for his dying mom. Along the way, he and his companions travel through the beautiful northern English landscape, with affected people lurking in forests and hills. The boy does find a doctor, but something seems off about him. In an interview, Boyle teased that Doctor may seem strange, but he is ultimately a force for good in the story. The trailer for the film was just released. It gives us a glimpse of what happens after all these years. The plot follows a guy's journey into the mainland. The tension builds continuously in the trailer, and there are eerie chants and unsettling music throughout. There are many images that show the infected, and they appear to be larger than the normal person. A scene shows one soldier being picked up off the ground from something above. Another is looking above him with a terrified expression. One scene shows Aaron Taylor Johnson running away from a figure that seems to be twice as tall as him. The infected seems to be much stronger. There also seems to be a cult, and there are many images of altars made of human bones, and many characters are going towards it. One other scene shows a group of people wearing masks and raising a boy above their heads. It is not clear if Aaron and a teenager along with him just encountered a cult or if they are a part of it. These people also seem to have formed a new society that does not have any communication with the rest of the world. We also get a look at a character that looks like Cillian Murphy. He looks old and rotten now, and he rises up in the field, but some sources claim that it is not him, but a newcomer, Angus Neal. The cast of 28 Years Later. The film features a lot of popular actors. Cillian Murphy returns as the lead, and he is also an executive producer for the film. We don't know what happened to Jim after the first movie, but we have been promised a twist in how he appears in this sequel. His character will surprise us in an unexpected way. Aaron Taylor Johnson, known for playing Quicksilver in the MCU and the new upcoming Kraven film, and Jodie Comer, famous for her role in Killing Eve, will also star. Ralph Fiennes, the actor behind Lord Voldemort, is part of the cast, and it will be intriguing to see what kind of role he plays. Aaron Kellerman from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Jack O'Connell also have roles, with O'Connell's character being part of all 3 movies. However, the specific characters of these actors are still unknown. Other details. The film was made with a budget of $75 million, with Garland and Boyle producing it. A bidding war took place between Warner Brothers and Sony for the distribution rights, and Sony won. First film was shot digitally, which was innovative at the time. It was one of the first Hollywood sequels to be shot using a Canon XL1. Continuing that trend, the sequel was filmed using iPhone 15s adapted for shooting, marking one of the largest films shot with smartphones. There were NDAs to prevent leaks, but a paparazzi photo showed Jodie Comer standing next to a rig holding an iPhone with a long lens attached, which was later confirmed by people involved in the production. What's next? As we've discussed, 28 Years Later is not the only movie coming out in the franchise. 2 more films are expected after this one. The second installment of the trilogy will be titled 28 Years Later Part 2, The Bone Temple. Director Danny Boyle has passed the baton to Nia DaCosta, who directed The Marvels and Candyman. Alex Garland wrote the scripts for both sequels to create a cohesive story. Updates indicate that filming for the second movie has already wrapped, so there's a chance it could be released soon after the first one. We still have no details on the plot of the second installment, but let's hope they don't make us wait too long after the release of the first film. Marvel's verdict. Well, with that, guys, we've come to the end of this video. 28 Days Later was one of the best horror movies made at the time, with its sprinting zombies. The sequel did not do as well as the first one, but we're hoping that the same thing will not happen to the new movie. With the OG writer-director duo returning, I'm sure that we're all in for a chilling new movie. What theories do you have all regarding the plot? What will Cillian's character be like after so many years? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed our content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Marvelous video.